And we are live for the Musty Wargamers Season 9, Episode 15. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Howdy.
Not sure who yet we have in the house, but the show. First of all, Cornwall in the house. Howdy ho, neighbors. So, hey, we got our normal crew here tonight. Farmer Dan, Punisher, Heresy. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm surprised.
Good.
I wonder why it's got
Super
my
good.
full name for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, it doesn't usually do that?
No, usually it goes by Hellcrex 26.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think it usually says
It
usually says AK Punisher, doesn't it?
Yeah, usually it just says Punisher.
No, over in
in the,
yeah, and over in the
chat.
comments there it says in the
Oh,
chat.
the full name. Yeah, I guess it's the way you're signed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I sign in.
We got Simon in the house.
Well,
New
now the
Squaller.
cat's out of the bag.
Hello, hello.
Oh, there goes the
Yeah, hey,
neighborhood.
Simon. Yep. We're letting anybody in, I guess.
Rusty's like, I don't want anybody to know who I am, but I just announced that that's me.
Why don't you put your social security number up there too while you're at it?
What's your social security number, Palmer? Well, if you're a member of the Musty Wargamers show, Facebook group, you know who I am, so that's no big deal. But
Actually, that's true.
That's a
it's not hard
fact.
to find. So yeah,
No, it's just funny because I haven't seen it do that.
yeah,
it's happened to me once. It depends on the way you're signed in into
Yeah.
Gmail or whatever. Oh, it looks like we got Chris over at Walkabout Games. Hello,
Hey,
hello,
Chris.
sir.
So I guess if I put in stuff over here, how about now? Oh, we just got a flood of everybody's here tonight. The usual crowd is rolling in.
I think you need a sound effect for each one
Oh,
of
yeah.
our regulars that comes in.
Josh is here.
Oh yeah, I got Josh too.
Yeah,
I think,
it's Musty
like I said,
time.
I think we should have a
Yep.
sound effect for each one of our regulars that comes in. I'm trying to think. Like this could be one.
Yeah, should.
I'm turning. What's the? Okay, what was the name of the band that had the song "I'm Turning Japanese"? From the '80s.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the name of the band. I know the song though.
Yeah, I'm turning Japanese. Really think so.
Would the monkeys remind you of that? Did the monkeys remind you of that?
What's that?
Did the monkeys remind you of that?
Yeah.
Because it could be this one too.
Oh, that's my back.
Yeah, right.
That's my back letting me know. That's like, what are you doing? You're not 50 years old anymore. You can't be lifting 200-pound wash dryers anymore.
Yeah, anything.
You'll likely feel it more tomorrow.
Oh yeah. If I try to get out of bed tomorrow,
Oh yeah, and then the next weeks.
Okay, I'm just gonna hang out here.
Should not.
Well,
I'm good.
I'm gonna have to take a muscle relaxer and some painkillers before I go to bed tonight. Well,
Probably for
you're John
2
Wayne.
weeks.
And I'll have to take a couple shots of whiskey to make myself feel better.
That's the first I've heard that one. I think I would have remembered that. That's good.
Yeah, what one's that one from?
Oh, well, Clint Talk, maybe that might have been one of them.
Well,
I was raised on a very healthy dosage of John Wayne.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah. Always watched a lot of John Wayne movies.
Yeah, I mostly just saw his World War II movies, fighting CDs, Sands of Iwo Jima.
Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah, I remember my uncle. He was like, big John Wayne fan. I'd hunt that guy down and shoot him. He shot John Wayne.
So I just put the topics in the comments.
Hey,
yeah, I saw that.
So
I did too.
Oh, you did already? Okay, cool. Okay,
Yep.
I didn't catch that. Perfect. All right, we're thinking in sync here. So
doubling up.
so we got a couple topics.
Cinco de Mayo.
Syncing and think. So yeah, we got a couple topics tonight, we've shown here, but we should probably start with updates. And so, in normal tradition, Dan, do you want to go as the one right of me, clockwise, right of the host?
Correct.
The hostess with the mostess.
The hostess.
Uh-oh. Did Dan freeze? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I glitching? Am I good?
Yeah, you were glitching. You were froze.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me decent?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
You were stuck in the muck there, down in the weeds.
I think there. Okay. Now it was kind of silencing. Is it good now?
Yeah. Well, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, when Raul Palmer was talking there, it was still kind of my connection was garbage. So you're talking about what we've been up to, correct?
Yeah, your update.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know if you can't hear what I'm saying. But
okay.
Yeah,
I'll go
I haven't
like
been.
This.
Yep. Once you guys go ahead, I'll be right. I'll come right back.
Okay, Rusty, do you want to go
reboot
first?
yourself?
You want to start, Rusty?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Games? None. Kind of the same old as the last week. I have got some time in actually at my desk in the last week. The good thing is I do have some stuff that's finished.
Nice.
It's only taken a month, but I got these guys done.
Cool.
I got my 2 king crabs.
There you go.
I got them done. Get some. 200 tons of pure nasty steel. And I've been working on my my dwarves. I got some work done on these guys.
Okay.
These are all cleaned up and ready to go. I got that. These are done. This is all finished up, ready to go. All I have to do is flock this.
Okay.
So I am working on the crews now.
Okay.
So that's all the work I got to do with those guys. So I got to put some brass on them and some, wood leather, and then I'll probably put some blue, because the theme of my clan of my dwarves is blue, chocolate bleu. So there.
All right.
And then I got, they're going to be the guys on the base.
Yes.
Some are metal, some are plastics.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of work on these guys. So
nice.
I have been doing some work.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Looks like Clark has joined everybody. Hey, Clark.
Hey, Clark.
Hey, Clark.
Long time no see.
And Wolfgang just joined in too. Hey, Wolfgang.
Hey, everybody's showing up.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we had a lot of people in the house. But I've been trying to get some people to, play games. We were supposed to play the Battletech game, but it got moved back to the last weekend of May, I think, or maybe first weekend of June, somewhere in there. I don't know. Graduation things and stuff happen, so people are like, "Oh, I can't do it." Covey quill everywhere.
Well, you mentioned the battle. Yeah. You mentioned the Battletech there.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel thirsty all of a sudden. I feel like I'm having a Coke and a rum and Coke or something.
Wolfgang's waiting for the gong for what he appeared. You didn't give him the gong.
That's true. I was doing the gong is what it was.
You're slacking. There it is.
I had said earlier that we have to have a different one for each guest, like a chimpanzee.
Let everybody pick their own sound.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna have to show me once again where you picked up all your sound effects. So.
Yep, no problem. And so
we'll definitely will have to go that route. Let's see. We do have Bushmills Irish whiskey tonight.
Nice, very good.
I don't know that one.
There's so many Irish whiskeys, Dan, other than Jameson.
Jameson? I don't know why you would go past that.
Well, it's like I've never had Pepsi with my Jameson. It's only been Coke. I don't even know of another soft drink to have with
it. Canada Dry Ginger Ale. And
is that right?
And a slice of lime.
So it's not, when you actually say you have a rum and Coke, you actually don't even really, it's really a rum and ginger ale.
No, I have a rum and Coke, but a Jameson and ginger ale.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Those are my two.
That makes sense. Okay.
From the year 1608.
Ah,
okay.
The old Bushmills Distillery.
That goes back a couple years.
Yeah,
Nice.
they've been around for a while. I'm surprised you haven't heard of these guys.
No, yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm pretty alcohol illiterate. Gonna be honest. I know the couple of things that I like, and that's where I'm at. And I was like,
do I do Redbreast Irish tonight, or do I do Bushmills? And then there was Tullamore. I was like looking at all my Irish whiskeys, and I'm like, which one flavor do I go with tonight? Which painkiller do I want?
You're a little more sophisticated than me.
So yeah, I keep telling you, Dan, and when you're over here sometime, and I have a whole passel of stuff. You can have a shot.
I have seen. It's not even a liquor cabinet. It's like a liquor wall. It's like the side of the one house. It's a little bit of everything going on there. It's pretty impressive.
Rusty's like, who took me Lucky Charms?
That's just when he's kind of thinking Irish whiskeys. I mean, he can teleport anywhere around the world with what he's got going on there.
Yeah, it's like I somewhere amongst all that, I even have some Indian whiskey. Obviously I got my Japanese. I got my Irish.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned.
There's even some German stuff up there somewhere. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
They make whiskey all around the world.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well,
distilled and bottled in 1608. Bushmills. It's a good year. I remember that year.
I think I got my internet.
You got it situated?
I'm sure you do.
All right. Well, Dan, how about your update?
Yeah, I think so. I kicked my wife off of the hockey game. So she was sucking too much of my bandwidth with the hockey game. So I sent her to bed.
Go to bed. Who's playing tonight?
Care about the game anyway.
Yeah.
Who is playing?
It's Montreal and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Panther. Yeah.
So the Montreal
I've sort of lost interest after the Wild loss, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're Avalanche fans, so I would have went for the Wild as well. I'm not a big hockey fan. My wife likes it, and I tolerate it mostly. But I can get into it a little bit. But if she wasn't here, I wouldn't watch it at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, kicked her off so that I've got decent bandwidth here. So yeah, as far as what I've done, mostly kind of doing my tractor hobby, and then just doing outside yard work and gardening and lawn mowing and working on equipment and spraying weeds and taking care of calves. Just kind of summer stuff. It's not crazy, but I'm an outside kind of guy. But I did I haven't sat down here since last show, except for last night to do just a tiny bit of prep work. But this I did get it primed. This was that
Your
Bretonian reliquary that I kind of custom built. So it's ready to paint, and then I've got a mixture of miniatures from Raw Partha, Foundry, Footsore, Games Workshop, and Black Tree Design that I'm going to use for the Battle Pilgrims. Like I've talked in the past, I'm making it into my own flavor, the way I envision the Arthurian part of Britannia. So yeah, so that's going to be fun. Lots of fun. It's fun, and all these are miniatures that I had that kind of been sitting around. And actually, a couple of these Raw Partha ones. Let's see, I'll pull a couple of them out. I have had literally for right at 30 years and haven't painted them. These are the old ones that I've got. There's this knight here. He's an oldie goodie. This is one from the historical range.
Nice.
And then this was another Raw Partha one that's just a knight. And so I'm going to mix those in with some peasants and some monks, and it's going to be cool. I'm excited. So I got them washed up, and tonight I'm just going to be gluing them onto their bases. Because I glue them onto bases, and then I put the sand and stuff down, and then I prime them. And that's my starting point. So
yeah,
made a little standard bear that I'm custom making. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. And no games, unfortunately. Mark's he's the one that lives very close to me. We're still hoping in the next couple of weeks to get a bolt action game in. We're just Rusty and I, we're not that far apart, but we can hardly make it work out. And this guy's only 20 some minutes away, and it's just hard to make schedules work. But I'm looking forward to it. When our schedules work, we'll do it. But so that's kind of me.
Yeah, cool. I know this is kind of coming into the summer. Everybody starts winding down for sure. I'm actually kind of winding up right now in my hobby. But I have had a really quiet time the last couple months. So it's just starting again is kind of nice because I'm kind of playing catch up. For me, I've not had any gaming recently, and that for the longest time is all I've been doing without hobby. But now I'm kind of doing a bit more hobbying. I do have a Adeptus Titanicus game scheduled coming up soon, and then I also have what do you call it? I'm sure I've got another pillage game coming up soon too. Actually, as far as hobby goes, I showed this one on the page.
You got that done, yeah.
So I got this guy done, and so it was pretty. Sorry, Rusty.
I'm going to say you need to have the Plasma Annihilator sound effect.
Yeah. Right for now, it's just.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But yeah, I do need to get something like that. And of course, it's mostly all magnetized. So like I can put other weapons up top, and then I can add like the Power Claw. What do I got here? Yeah, I can add the Power Claw.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's something I don't have. Oh,
what's that?
Does the Warlord come in the big box?
It is a pretty decent sized box. It's about a foot by 10 inches, and then like maybe 3 inches deep, 2.5 inches deep.
Yeah, because I got the Warlord Battle Titan box. Is that okay?
You might have got the one with the two. There's this one. There's two versions of the Warlord for Adeptus Titanicus that they sell. Yeah, like there's two different primary kits.
Yeah, because I have the Warlord Battle Titan. I got the War Master Heavy Battle Titan.
Yeah.
And then a Reaver Battle Titan.
Nice. Now you got a lot there. A lot of Adeptus Titanicus there. And so the other thing, so what I'm starting now is like, before I get back on the Dark Ages, because I'm going to be starting some Footsore Vikings, I kind of wanted a little project just for fun, just to start. And I printed some bases. I showed you guys some of these This is one that I haven't shown actually. I don't think because I just took this one off my shelf. And what I decided is I initially put those 3 miniatures I've shown in the past on a square base, and I built up putty around the whatever you call it, the tab, the pill on the bottom.
Yeah, puddle base. Yeah.
Yeah, and because it was like needed to be so raised, there was a really thick layer of epoxy sculpt that I created like a dungeon floor. And I not only did I not like the look of that, but the more I'm thinking about it is I'm going to use these for like display and some like generic skirmish games. And so because of that, I decided I wanted one of these old like hollow bases, so I could fill it and almost just have it go level like at the feet.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. So I decided I'd print a bunch of those, and I got the old FDM printer up and running, and so what I'm working on tonight is this is like the Hobbit from that group, and I'm just working on getting these guys the epoxy sculpt in there and getting them the base kind of sculpted, and then I'll prime, and then lastly I just have this one here. So yeah, cool. So I'm working on those for fun, just these 4 miniatures, and then I'll probably do maybe a group of 8 to 10 of Vikings, and then I'll probably jump back to some of these miniatures or some Test of Honor. And for the drink tonight, I'm actually doing a bit of homebrew tonight, and so yeah, like this has a label on it. It says Alberta vodka, but really I just use this. This is a apple wine, so it's like 13 to 14%. So it's not. It's how I would have made a cider, but I actually just made it much more concentrated. I use a champagne yeast, and I'm actually just going to have some of this.
Why don't you just actually say what it is? You took orange Kool-Aid, put it in a bottle of vodka.
There you go. That's right. Exactly. Well. It's got a little bit of bubbles there. It's actually not carbonated.
It's sparkling cider.
Well, actually, look, I say it's not carbonated, but it's actually bubbling a little bit.
Yeah, so it's sparkling cider.
Yeah.
Sparkling.
And so yeah, it's a little. I've done them as 5% too, like just as like almost like a beer, like drinking a beer. But I had this one that I did strong, so I'm working on that tonight for fun. And so for all the battle texts that we have not yet paid homage to.
Cheers. Drink.
Yeah, you got to catch up already here.
Mm-hmm. How about we go through the comments before we do the first topic?
Aye.
All right. So let's see. We saw that Clark came in. Kind of just get to where I'm not sure. Sooner or later, Palmer susses out who is who. I'm not sure what that refers to. Is that the chimpanzee kind of things or what? I'm not sure. Rusty put the topics up earlier, just so you guys know. It's like our first topic is going to be how would you describe your hobby or game experience today as compared to when you first started wargaming? And then sort of closely aligned with that is, do you collect miniatures for games or for displaying? And we got the vapors. What was that involved with? I'm not sure. That's the hard thing about going back in the comments from too long. Let's see. Quiet Man is my favorite non-Western.
Oh, we were talking about John Wayne.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go back to John Wayne when he goes to Ireland with Maureen O'Hare. That's a heck of a movie.
Dan, he's talking about Dan's farmer dial-up.
Yeah. Felt like I was.
So Chris is working on Spanish Civil War militia still and designing some bases for some action figures to display them.
Sweet.
Awesome. No one likes the Habs. Referring to Montreal there.
Yeah. I don't know. I was cheering for him over Carolina, but that's maybe just me.
Lots of money for the Titans. Wow. Just look them up. Ouch.
Yeah, they're only like $15-$20, right? Per time.
Sure.
Times 20?
Depends on what currency we're talking about.
Yeah.
Less games, more display / hobby. That's, I guess, Chris's answer to our first.
Sure.
Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, could be.
Well, it's much easier to to buy stuff than to paint it. So we all can actually say that we have much more collecting.
Yeah.
I have to say the hobby has taken a big hit in the last month or so.
For you, you mean?
Yeah. It's like my output was just like way up here, and all of a sudden,
yeah. Well, mine does that in the summer oftentimes, but
yeah.
I don't lose interest. I got too many things I like to do, but like
when April rolls around, it's like harvest time or planting time, and it's like,
yeah. And then now you're kind of tending the babies and the crops, and so now it's, but then now I could sit here and do this all day tomorrow. I mean, it's not that I don't love doing it, or I get kind of burned out. I never really have that happen ever. I don't even know what that means on this, but it's super fun and rewarding, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, all you have to do is sell the farm, and you have all the time you want.
Yep, sure, absolutely. Yeah, if you're a farmer, you're like asset rich and cash poor. It's like you got stuff that has value, but it doesn't mean you can't buy groceries with that unless you sell it. But it's all good. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it's the old thing. It's like you can have all the time in the world and no money, and all the money in the world and no time.
Which was one of the things I was going to talk about when we talk about one of our topics.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, speaking of which, then let's get started. Who would like to go first on the first one?
Oh, well.
Which one are you calling the first one?
The first one is
how your hobby's changed.
Your hobby experience since when you first got into the hobby as compared to your hobby experience today. And it also could be gaming. Like I say, I'm including the whole thing of wargaming, the gaming aspect and the hobby aspect.
Okay.
Well, I could sort of get the ball rolling. I'll just mention a few things. When I first started getting into gaming and spending a lot of time hobbying, I did not have a family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a different place in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm going to go 2-3 times to the game shop in a week and play games.
Mm-hmm.
And I had plenty of time to paint and work on stuff so I could have it ready for the next game, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of it. Big changes. Like I had all the time in the world for a lot of stuff, unless I was like getting deployed or having to go do some training or something of that nature. And especially in the summertime when it's like, hey, I'm not teaching, so hey, I got plenty of time to do all I want. But that was the big thing. And that's where, it's amazing when you don't have kids, you have a lot more money.
Wait, what?
Let's ask Clark. Hey, Clark.
How's the cash flow?
How's the cash flow? That's one thing. It was the big difference is that, when all your friends, all of us were 20-something-year-olds in the, I'd say, early 90s, you had all kinds of time to do stuff. And it's like, all you had to do is just put a little bit of money towards your hobby, buy miniatures galore. It didn't seem like stuff was all that expensive. It was expensive, but it wasn't seem like, breaking the bank expensive,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like we play a lot of BattleTech.
Oh,
I can't believe that. Wet your whistle. Yep.
Yeah. I feel a little parched.
Take your time.
Take time. Yeah, it's like we had all kinds of. Well, it was like $1.50 to $2. You could buy a mech back then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't over. It's like you could for $20 you could buy a box set of stuff, to play. It seemed like every week I was buying stuff to let's buy a couple more blisters every week, add to the collection.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the kick things off. That was kind of like my foray. It's like, let's just say that was 90, 91, 92, somewhere in there.
Okay.
How old were you in 92 there, Paul?
92, I was probably like 19, I would say.
18?
19.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say 19. I was a year out of I graduated in 91.
Okay.
Yeah. Graduated high school in 91.
Yeah, I graduated college in 91 and got married in 93.
Yeah, let's see. High school was graduated in 83.
I was 87.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all about 4 years apart-ish, huh? Is that
Yeah.
what we're saying?
Your older brother and younger brother.
I'm not a math wizard, but
Kind of like that.
Yeah,
So where'd you go from there then? So like you said, so you had you had a lot of time and freedom and enough disposable cash, and then you get married and have kids, but then you didn't quit hobbying then, though.
No, I did not stop. It's like it was too much in my blood to stop. I just slowed down a bit for a while there when the
Kids were little.
when the kids were little, and I'd say I started playing more games at the house versus at the shop when the kids came around, because then I could keep an eye on them, type of thing.
Oh, sure. One eye.
One eye on them. And then that's probably one of the reasons why my kids liked playing games, because they were always around when I play games. It's like,
yeah, that makes sense.
The one time when my son injured himself, he was sitting on, my white stools I have here.
Yeah.
He was climbed up on it, and he was sitting on it, and he slipped and fell, and he always, when he was a young kid, he always had to keep his tongue hanging out of his mouth, and he came down with his chin on the
oh, that hurts to think about.
And he pierced his tongue the hard way. So we rushed him off to the hospital to have him checked out, and it's like the guys that were playing with, one of them's like, "Oh, you drive, I'll hold the kid."
No way.
So when your gaming buddy's with you in the hospital, you have a good friend when you.
Yeah, you're bonded.
You weren't still rolling dice though,
blood.
right? Like you weren't rolling dice in the side of the OR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we continued on. If you've been playing D&D, you could have just grabbed your wizard hat and kept in your D20.
In the waiting area, you got your dungeon screen up.
We were playing Magic the Gathering.
Oh, really? I never ever played that.
Yeah. It was Tyler Wapple, friend Derek, and another guy. All of them, it was like they were mostly Magic players at the time. But yeah, they just like, okay.
So your big part of your gaming experience was about the difference in funds to game and time because of
that was a big thing. Was that spent a lot of it just wanting to collect. I was collecting a lot of miniatures at the time, building armies, and then I had my main. It's like you always want looking at my museum forces. There's a reason I have so many.
Yes, and it's from those time periods too, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
Clark says I was in the womb in 92. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you're about the same age as my kid. So you had your first kid in what, 93, 94?
Me?
Yeah.
95.
95.
June of 95 was our oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've rambled on long enough. I'll let somebody else talk for a little bit before I jump in again as we progress. through the era.
Yeah.
How about you, Dan?
For
How's your
me,
game experience changed?
well, not, and I have, which we've talked before, I have slightly different exposure. As a kid, I didn't really miniature game.
Mhm.
We did a lot of the board games, and we've talked about that. And I don't mean like Monopoly. We did the
Avalon Hill.
SBI, Avalon Hill. The war games, board games, Hex Encounter, whatever you want to call them. And that was just with family members. But when I first really kind of, and I started to learn about, like miniature gaming, I knew it was out there. It was just beyond. I built models and stuff, but like painting miniatures and those large armies was just something I knew about, and I thought was really cool. I didn't know anybody that did it. I would see it like in a magazine ad or in a or a game that I had. They might have advertisements for that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I was aware of it, and I knew it was cool. I had played with plastic army men until I was way too old to be doing that. So I mean, I was sort of doing it in a way, but I didn't really enter like the hobby like most people say until I would say like literally probably about the year I got married, about 93, which is that's then what sort of tells my story then. I think it was partly then I was out of college. We'd bought the farm. I was finally like fully independent, and because growing up it was different. We were kind of just working on the farm all the time. That's just kind of what we did. We didn't have like weekend. I mean, it was different growing up experience for me, I think. But anyway, so then that was kind of when I was kind of could do whatever I wanted, and that's when I got into my antique tractors same year, and then started digging out because I'd gotten some miniatures and I'd painted a few for more like dungeon crawl games and Dungeons and Dragons, and just because I thought it was cool. And I started digging some of that stuff out again, and that's when I started ordering some paints and minis from Raw Partha, and started actually thinking I'm going to build an army and I'm going to play. And that's when 5th edition fantasy came out, about like 95 and somewhere in there, so that's kind of what my first real exposure was, where I was actually starting to buy some stuff. But the problem is, again, that was bad timing because I had just got married. We just bought the farm, and we went from feeling like you could conquer the world to I have no time and I have no money. And so it all kind of got shoved away. Occasionally I'd fiddle with it. And then we had our second child in 98, and that shut things down.
Even more.
Yeah, even more, which was fine. And then I remember somewhere in that time frame, I got a subscription to White Dwarf, which kind of, just kind of kept it in my imagination. And I was aware of what was out there, and just kind of dreaming about someday type thing. And so then it really wasn't until 2014, 15, because my oldest was graduating from high school, and I was like, okay, and my youngest, she was in high school, so and the farm was starting to kind of get its legs under it. So I started to think, look back at, picking out my old hobbies and my old games, and that's when I did that finally. So I guess it's in the past since then, that's when my hobbies really bloomed. So I guess for me, I guess you could kind of say the biggest thing is it went from being a dream to being something that I knew I could do it, but I didn't have the time or money, to now, and even in the past 10, 12 years that I've been back in the hobby very consistently and solid, it's been where now I have even more time and even more disposable income. I mean, I'm not like I buy whatever the heck I want, but I've got some funds I can put to that, and I've got some time that I can put to that. And so this, for me, it's like this is I'm living like what I would have wanted to do like in my 20s, or in my teens, but it was not. The only thing that I'm lacking is being kind of in nowhere, finding opponents. But that was also something I would say that has changed in my gaming experience. Has been, back then you didn't have pre-internet. Like and I wasn't in a city, like you couldn't find people that did this, and it was through the internet then that's how I found out about obviously Rusty, and we've played games, and then the guy that lives literally 20 minutes from me in another town that's been doing it for years, that we found each other and we get together in game, you know, and then YouTube, and then just all that opened it all up. It's like having a, you know, it's like living, you can live in the middle of nowhere, and it's like having a gaming shop and a bunch of gaming buddies down the road. I mean, even like, you know, Palmer, you know, Canada, but like, you know, we hang out and actually did get a couple games in person. But
yeah.
So technology has helped that part for me, being more kind of isolated in sort of a gaming desert, and just kind of, you just don't have the population either. So that's for me, basically. Like for me, this is like the golden age for me of gaming, because everything's a possibility. I have time and money. I've painted multiple armies for different time periods and different genres, built terrain, all the things I dreamed of doing. I'm able to do now, and enjoy as much as I thought that I would enjoy it. So yeah, so it's just kind of been a steady progression, from dreaming about it to living that dream now, kind of is what it amounts to, I guess.
Yeah, that's the big difference, is that I was still able to, even when I had the after the kids were a little bit older.
Yeah, you were able to kind of continue it, or at least hold it.
Yeah,
together.
I was able to still
participate.
You know, it may have been like once a week or every other week I got to go to the shop and you know, with my friends and stuff, and get together and play. Usually it was like on the weekends or something of that nature.
Sure, yeah.
But still, it was I was still had my toes in it. Unlike you, where you were kind of stuck in the desert.
Yes, because when I got back into it in 2014, 15-ish there, and I was looking at, what do I want to play? I don't even, what games are out there? And I was thinking, I'm going to do Warhammer Fantasy. I didn't even know that it was like gone, you know, by the time I was starting to get, because I found out about Bolt Action, and then I started looking around. It's like, oh no, the End of Times, and they killed off Warhammer Fantasy, and it was like, oh, I mean, I was so removed.
That would have been devastating, because, you know,
I had no idea.
Yeah, during that time when the end times hit, you know, like, oh, this is kind of cool. End times, it's really cool what they're doing with it and everything. And then they said, oh, it's done. Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, crazy.
I was not expecting that after you know, playing the game for almost 2 decades.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one, from what I understand. Yeah, because I was just remember watching all kinds of YouTube videos and reading posts and stuff about how that all happened and what happened. I was so clueless about that. But then, yeah, I found a few people sort of in my area, you know, which within an hour or something of me, that played Bolt Action. And World War II is one of my all-time favorite periods in history. So, yeah, so that kind of launched it. And then luckily I hadn't sold my Bretonians that I'd started collecting back in, you know, 95, 6, 7, right in there. So a few times I remember thinking about selling that, and just because I'm never going to get to that, and I'm never going to do it. And I can buy some more Bolt Action stuff with some of the money. But I never did. Glad I didn't, you know, so.
That's the good thing.
Yeah, because I had quite a few.
You made your saving throw.
Yeah, I made my saving throw. Just got lucky, and I'm such a hoarder. I don't get rid of much, so.
No, I totally understand the hoarding thing when it comes to miniatures. Except every once in a while I would
have a bit of a purge.
I would purge things. It's like every once in a while looking like, oh, when am I ever going to play this? Got to the point where, you know, I played fantasy and BattleTech for the most part through the 90s, and kept playing. I had never stopped playing BattleTech. And then when you know, 40K was in there, but it wasn't my go-to game. You know, we played 40K every once in a while. Mostly, I'd say we played Warhammer 40K Epic 40K the most.
Okay, yeah. Really?
Yeah, we played that more because we enjoyed that because it was a large scale game. You know, because you could, you know, you're throwing companies of stuff out there to be blown off the face of the earth, but versus, you know, just a small amount of miniatures. But
it's fun to kill lots of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm going to take a different crack at this perspective, because that's one perspective is like your time, your money, like how you gain like during that time. And maybe when I thought about this one, because I kind of suggested this first part of it, I had something slightly different in mind for my answer, I guess, in the sense of like the way in the way I was thinking about the topic. And, you know, when I had a re-entry into the hobby in 2012, and like although I had played D&D as a kid, although I played Rogue Trader when I was like 18, and although I had an experience of painting these exact miniatures that I'm painting tonight, like this exact line of miniatures I used for D&D, the ones I showed, and although I painted them with like those acrylic, not acrylic, those what are they called? The enamel paints, like you know, the testers.
The testers enamel.
You know, although I did that, I don't really consider my big introduction of seriously trying to paint, seriously trying to game until I was out of college. Like many years went by, so it's like 2012 I got back into it, and if I even think back to 2012, getting back into it as compared to now. My experience today, like my experience then, was I wanted to learn how to paint. I heavily used YouTube to learn, and my world was much smaller. Like I just wanted to at that time get into 40K, and I had wanted to paint some things other than 40K, so I got like some of the Dungeons and Dragons miniature game, board game miniatures, you know, in the miniature game, and I painted those, and every week I would paint like one or two different kinds of creatures or characters, and then I would also paint maybe a couple of 40K miniatures, like a handful of miniatures, you know, like in a week. And because my world was smaller, like I was just like intently trying to learn. Things compared to now were much more about trying to do basic things well. Like I was really just trying to get that wash to look good. I was really just trying to get that highlight to look appropriate, you know, like it was. And when I did my YouTube channel, and as sort of like somebody that was going to just take this ride and like learn and have like friends to talk to, or like kind of like what Dan was talking about, like, you know, having that group of people that you start to talk to, like my hobby desk was this like area where everything else in the world would just go away, and I would just paint these few miniatures on a weekly basis. I would do like a video on it. I would talk to a few people about it, and it was very controlled.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Okay.
So basically, what I found, and there was aspects to that I liked. I liked that sort of just small aspect, that sort of meditative aspect of just coming to my desk and just having this one thing that I'm doing. What I found as the years went by and I started painting more and more, and as it became, I'm always trying to learn and try new things, do things differently. I'll never say that I'm not learning anymore, like as a miniature painter, but as those basic things became less of the main focus, I found that more and more games I was getting exposed to, you know, and instead of it just being one game and that focus, I found I was like always looking at another game. I always had a friend telling me about another game. I always had a friend getting into a game, and it was just like lots, right? And all of a sudden it was about like how fast I could get something on the table, you know what I mean? And in some cases, a lot of miniatures. And it's, I don't know really like when it happened per se, because I would say that I still like that aspect of the hobby of like that, having my, like all my distractions go away. Because
Mm-hmm.
speaking of time, like you were before, like even though I have more time now to hobby than I did years ago, I made more time then.
Okay.
Even though, like, I don't find having the time for me actually directly relates to how much time I actually create.
Huh.
Like,
That's
to put aside, I actually found when I had less time, I did more hobbying.
Really
Yeah, I don't know why, but I did.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's trying to shove as much as of the hobby you could into what little time you had.
And I was always really, because I was newer at it and had that sparkle, like it was newer and it was like something to learn. I was like always thinking about it, and like, you know,
That new curse.
if I had that new next step I had to do, it was like something I was thinking about, like, you know, like when I wasn't at the hobby desk and stuff like that. And so now I find that like I'm trying to narrow down to 4 things that I'm primarily doing as far as games, and even all those 4 things need lots of stuff to paint. And it's just a little bit different, like that feeling. And so one of the reasons why I thought of this topic today is because like I'm pulling out these old miniatures finally and actually working on them as a little project in between the big projects, just purely for fun and display. And I think that part of it is working on a couple of little things and maybe putting up a YouTube video to show them on a weekly basis is something that I'm attracted to doing again, because it's kind of how I started the hobby. And then somehow along the way, I just got so busy with like hobby busy in my head and like so distracted that I became less productive, even though I was like attacking more than even when I was focused like on like a very small amount. And you know, it doesn't it's not unrelated to this, but I've talked a lot about how like I love painting guides. And I remember somebody said to me once, like, well, you don't really need that, Palmer. Like, you know, like I put out some videos and whatever. Like somebody was just commenting, like somebody that was a subscriber was saying, like, you know, you don't need that Foundry book, Palmer. That's kind of basic or whatever. But the thing that when I look and I read painting guides, it reminds me of when I started the hobby, and I almost feel like transporting back to like when I first started the hobby. Like, and it makes me motivated for some reason. Like, I don't know why, but I just like, even just seeing like those old painting guides and stuff. And then I collect them for that reason. And I feel very nostalgic about it. But I think this idea of kind of approaching the hobby that way is kind of like what I'm looking at doing temporarily, or at least for a little bit, is trying to get a little bit back to that approach I had when I first started. It's funny because it's like you can't go back and like all of a sudden like unlearn things to be like learning again. It's not like
learning for the first time.
Yeah, it's that's never going to happen.
No.
But sometimes like the way you approached it and the way you get excited and focused on certain things can mirror it, I think. And anyway, and so for me that's a different experience. It's just I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's just sort of something I've noticed. It doesn't feel this. It started not feeling the same to me anymore, in the way I was approaching things. But
I feel like I've always approached it the same way. It still is that place where when I sit down, everything else disappears. I never. Maybe it's because I have even yet. I mean, I have a lot more time now than I did, but I still have limited time because I have other things. Well, everybody does, but when I like during the day, it's fun for me. I'm thinking about like, how am I going to base those, or which figures should I use for that, or what am I going to do next, or should I do 24 in the unit or 20, and then how am I going to make the banner? I love thinking about that. And when I come down here and I get painting and have a YouTube video on or something or music, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh geez, I need to get to bed. I didn't realize it was that late, and I've been down here for like 2 hours, or something. And and for me, I just keep it that way. But this is the room that I've always painted in since I've been in this house. This is the desk I've painted at. This is the gaming table I've had sitting here. I've put different terrain on it and different, stuff like that. But it kind of, every time I come in this room, and it has all my old, I've got in the shelf behind me, it's got books that my mom gave me when I was in like, I was like in middle school or fifth, sixth grade, some of these,
Yeah.
and some of my favorite King Arthur books in the world are on this shelf. And to me, this is part of that. It creates that same nostalgic or that comfortable, happy feeling that you get from that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will say that kind of maybe sort of pokes at what you're saying, Palmer, and I can't really put my finger on it. And again, I'm not going to dig on it. I'm just trying to kind of bring up a point. Was the first time I've really felt that was, and it's not maybe what you're saying, but with the hobby that I've had a weird feeling was my feeling with the third edition bolt action. And again, I'm not going to beat that horse, but where you kind of feel like you're falling out of love with something that was and I don't know if it's just because if it is literally because it's the third edition, or if I played it that long now, or because I kind of missed for quite a few years. In my first years, coming up here, the first weekend in June was that Bug Eater tournament that I would always be geared up for. Mark and I would get together to play a few games to test our lists, and we'd be, thinking about how we're gonna, because we weren't ultra competitive, but we'd try to figure out something that, at least we could be semi-competitive there, and just being excited to go down there. And I'd get up way early and get my chores done, and we'd leave like it's just barely getting light out to get down there. And so I, maybe it was kind of a period in my life that you can't quite get back, because bolt action was the game that brought me back into the hobby and was the first army that I fully painted and played multiple times and played competitively, and just sort of was just like this epiphany, and a sense of real accomplishment and camaraderie with other bolt action players, that probably some of you guys maybe had, or a lot of the people in the chat maybe had when they were younger, that I kind of missed out on. And so I don't know if it's a combination of the rules of playing the game that long. I don't feel bored with the game. I didn't really notice it till third edition came out. So I'm not sure. Maybe that is again a thing where I'm trying to recapture that excitement that I had. Whether if Mark and I played second edition, I would have that, or if it's a thing that ship is kind of enough things in both of our lives and time has changed that you never quite get that back again.
Right.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. There's that a lot of us have been playing for decades now.
Yeah, so I wonder what you would think.
It's like I've gone through so many different. You think about the Games Workshop thing, where I've been through how many different editions of, let's say, 40K or Fantasy.
Yeah.
Each time Fantasy changed slightly, I didn't lose that thrill of still playing it.
Okay.
But I always kind of kicked you in the guts every time like 40K would change, and they would make it seem like, oh man, why the heck they make those changes?
Drastic changes.
And then suddenly when they went from 40K to Sigmarine, as I like to call it.
Age of Sigmar,
went from 7th to 8th edition. It's like, this is not even the game I loved.
Yeah, it's changed enough that it's
changed so much as I don't even feel like I'm playing the game anymore.
I think that's maybe because it's some of the fundamental things that had changed. The way you build an army has changed.
Yeah.
The die rules for combat are completely changed, and it's like it is almost like a different game, but it looks the same game, and it almost makes me angry in a way, not like just because it's like that. I had so much fun. I hate that,
Why'd you do that to me?
Why did you do that? And I know you can always play the old edition, but for some reason nobody does, and nobody.
Well,
Mark
you
and
have much less opportunity to. You don't have as many gaming partners, so it's not like there's like 50 people that are playing the game, and like you just like hit up 2 of them that are still playing the old edition. Like you've got like 1 or 2 people to play with, and so there's a good chance that they may want to try the new shiny.
Yeah, exactly. And again, and maybe I'm not trying to knock the specifics, but that like you said, that's happened with other game systems and companies and things that you've had before, and it's you feel like you took my happy place. Dang it,
You took my fun zone and you nuked it, dude.
Yeah, I loved it that way. Why did we? And I loved that everybody was playing the same game that I was playing, and it was just it's fun, it's interesting, and it's not even like I hate the new rules, but the magic. I feel like the magic's gone. That thing that you almost can't describe why you love this so much. It was gone.
Yeah, I totally. There was this meme that goes around that shows the guys sitting there, all on the hangman's scaffold with the nooses around their neck, and and the guy's looking over first time. Well, it's like I'd be like the old veteran looking over there. Hey, I know how you feel. It's the first time you felt this way.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Anyway, sorry, a little bit maybe of a sidetrack, but
no, I think
it needed to be said.
Why don't we take a look at the comments real quick, because we kind of went around once at least. And let's see here. Chris says yes, my answer, and that was to his less games, more display hobby, as far as like how things changed, to with this topic.
And you did something I forgot that I was going to mention is like you brought up the transition in life here, where we've gone through where everything for us was analog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we went from a totally analog gaming society to digital.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're doing things digitally, and we can play games digitally. So it was like that was a major change in how we did things. Also, that I wanted to touch on.
And I do think as we talk about things over time, technology and the way gaming, like you could really go in, like we have in some ways talked about this topic before. I actually was just kind of more talking about my personal experience, like as a hobbyist.
Yeah.
But like kind of like at the hobby table. But like you could talk about 3D printing, you could talk about like changes in game mechanics. Like there's just so many things that have changed over time. Even during my time, like which was short, like in the grand scheme of things, when I came back into the hobby in 2012, there's been so much.
Yeah, because you were right at the tail end before there was a major change in like 40K, because you were playing Rogue Trader, which felt more like a role-playing game in some ways.
Yeah, and I did that as like an 18-year-old, and I wasn't as serious of a gamer. Like it was sort of, I wasn't as serious of like a tabletop gamer. Like I kind of understood RPGs, but I was like just dabbling, like and I owned it, and I had the miniatures, and I tried painting them and stuff. But I wasn't as serious. But like I kind of more seriously got into it, like for the first time in 2012. But like even then, like we went through the transition of I go you go, like from like my turn, your turn. You know what I mean? Like that like really took over during, even since I have been back in the hobby. Like there's been a lot of changes. But yeah, like how I enjoy the hobby and like how I prioritize it within my life, and like how much I take on, and like how much it is like solace for me in life versus how much it's just something I do, like, because I do that, is like kind of stuff for me that matters the most.
Right.
But yeah, Simon says kids at home time. And then Clark goes, yeah, 4 kids under 4 years old takes away a bit of hobby time and funds, but I can still get some games in a couple times a month. That's impressive. If you're talking a couple times a month, because it's like what I said before, like the amount of time you have doesn't necessarily correlate with how much you devote. Like a couple games a month, I have all the time in the world to game really. And I still don't do more than a couple times a month. So that's like a lot for me, like, and so it's not because, so it's good that, it's, if you prioritize and that's really what you enjoy, then like you can make it happen sometimes. But
yeah, well, it depends.
I don't think, I don't think that's bad. A couple times.
No, that's fantastic. That's probably the biggest challenge you'll have for time and money is during that time frame. So of your life.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
he
good.
Goes, Clark goes, one of my friends also has kids, so we will game while the kids play, or folks will come over occasionally and play. That's good that you're able to.
Yeah, that's the important thing is
that's fantastic.
If your friends have kids, bring them over and get them interacting, because we used to have it where we even got the kids involved in playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have campaigns, and their kids and our kids were playing. They had their characters and all that. So it was important to pass the torch on in some ways.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Next one here is I was in a war zone in 92. So when we were talking about time, that's Chris.
Yeah, wow. I've been 91, 92.
Man, yeah.
Turned 21, he said. And I was in the womb in 92. Clark. I remember a very comfortable place.
It was a very dark time in my life, 92.
Been downhill since then.
I went to the light.
Still snapping up BattleTech minis, the same as late 80s, early 90s, but way fewer games and a lot more painting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for me. I definitely have more time, and I make more time for it. Or it's always been a priority, but it just couldn't be high enough on the list when I had kids and other things. But now it's a priority for me. It's mental health for sure for me, like literally. So just to getting painting games if possible. But if I just painted and collected and built terrain, I'd be that's good. It's a win. Okay.
5th edition is
in Kosovo then, huh? Slavs, lucky for me, could not hit me in 92. I was good at ducking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is comment at the bottom.
That has been a tough one there, buddy. Don't envy you there.
5th edition's best edition. So much red.
Yep. Just the bright, bold colors. I love. I'm like a bird. I like the bright, bold colors.
With bright green face coverings.
Yeah.
Edges.
Yeah, I'm indifferent on that. That never was a thing that I really even homed in on. That it was a big of a thing when I was just looking through the catalogs and rule books and White Dwarfs. To me, it was mostly just, and I didn't even really notice. Oh yeah, there's like tons of red in every arm. I was just like, I loved the bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the goblins and orcs, their skin was like popping, almost highlighted to yellow, and just and the Bretonnians were bright, and it was a good time.
It was also it was a time of reverse. Well, it was that time of like washes were used and inks back then, but there was that technique that was much more prominent than where people went much brighter on surface layers of paint compared to under layers in order to create depth. And so like you had high contrast, really bright, really dark, really bright. Like it was like very poppy. It was kind of nice.
That's kind of what my style is. I think that's because ever since, that was always something that grabbed my eye. And so my painting style, even for my World War II, is toward that. I tend to do bright highlights, high contrast, less blending and stuff, just because on the table, I think it looks good at it from a distance. And and to me, I love the high contrast bright.
Yes.
Personal choice.
Chris says, I opened a game store, so I tried to stay playing.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
And Simon says, not the first time we've heard this from him. He says, do not purge. He doesn't believe in getting rid of anything. I think you guys are both allies in that.
Yeah, I'm a non-purge for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. And then Tim.
But Rusty, in his defense, has a metric ton of miniatures.
Just put it this way, I have over 10,000 points of orcs, and I purged probably 75% of them.
Like if you purged you could purge the amount of figures I own, and you wouldn't hardly even notice it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that's you have a lot of miniatures.
So if I made a slight dent in them, getting rid of some, there was a reason. I didn't see the need to keep 25,000 points of orcs, so I got rid of a bunch of them.
That seems, I don't know. That seems like a bad approach in my mind. That's not a reason. That's an excuse.
Yeah, I was
Just teasing.
I was too big into my orc army for a long period of time, and it's like, you know,
a lot of orcs.
It was mostly Rogue Trader stuff, and I was like, you know, I have an issue here.
I have a sickness bad. Yeah.
I need to trim down a little bit.
I need to get this under control.
And we got Slavs. Yeah, this is what you guys were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
Chris's experience, and then we've got load-bearing orcs. Though you need a load-bearing wall for those orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son went out and bought some more orcs the other day. And I did tell him, I said, hey, dude, you do know I have 10,000 points worth of orcs, right? And he's like,
orcs with a K or orcs with a C?
K.
Oh, okay.
And I probably got about 5,000 points or more, maybe 6,000 points of C's, sea orcs.
Wow.
Those aren't ocean orcs.
Orc with a C.
Ocean orcs. Are you talking
an ocean of orcs? It's a sea of green.
Right. That's right.
What about like Western Mountain orcs? How are you on that?
Valley orcs.
I leave that brand of orcs in 15 mil.
Okay. Yeah, I got like 20,000 points of those. Yeah, surely.
Do you remember in D&D? This is a real aside, but do you remember in Dungeons and Dragons how they had so many different elves in Advanced, and they had a valley elf? Do you remember the valley elf?
Yeah,
totally. I remember my friends and I were like, Valley Girl was out at the time, like you know what I mean, yeah, that was just
for so sure. Totally, I love the valley.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Sure, I guess I'll go to the pub. I don't care.
Oh god.
Yeah, so many elves, so little time. All right. Well, we got through the comments there. I'm actually kind of happy with I love sculpting bases, and this is what I've been doing during the show tonight. Like I've actually done 3 out of the 4. I'm almost done with the 4. But I've kind of
filled them in.
Well, I filled them in, but I've see here.
Oh, you put some texture on.
Yeah.
I basically did some kind of cobblestones. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I find it pretty easy. You know, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like you just take a sculpting knife and make straight lines and kind of make a little order and it's fun. Like you can get a roll press and do some of this kind of stuff too, I guess. And like there's other ways, but I love doing that. And so I've got one more to do. I've done 3 during our show, but yeah, it's cool. And so as far as our next topic, this one is a bit more specific, and it's do you buy miniatures more for display at this point, or do you buy them, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rusty, because you kind of came up with this one, or do you buy them more, for the gaming, to use in a game specifically?
Yeah.
Is that pretty much accurate?
Yeah, that's kind of accurate, I'd have to say.
So what say you?
Well, do you collect miniatures for games or displaying? At this time, I have to say I'm more for displaying.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the space, I'd put another display cabinet up to fill it out even more because I have so much stuff that's painted. I don't have.
You do. You have so much, and it's well painted.
Yeah.
It's
And that's
not
the thing
like
is like when you're a commissioned painter, it's like I have so many. When I paint for even myself, I try to get some of it to look really nice.
mission accomplished.
Yeah. And I maybe have, it's like I got 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 armies on display. And that's, I still got lots of 40K stuff that, I've never posted up in there for armies. And I would like to have more up on display. But it's at the point now in my life, it's like I don't play as much as I'd like to. So I think I'm transitioning over towards what Games Workshop is preferring people to be is just painters versus gamers.
Mm-hmm.
The hobbyists in that aspect of it. It's like,
yeah, collectors and painters. Yeah.
And to be honest, is that I have a very large Adeptus Mechanicus army from 30K. I mean, huge. It's one of those things where suddenly you're asking, how many points do you have in orcs? Well, I'm starting to get work on that same level when it comes to Adeptus Mechanicus. Is that?
Oh wow!
It's one of those armies I really enjoy looking at. It's so different. Yeah. So I just recently bought, was it Thanatar? They have a couple, I think I picked up 2 more Thanatars I want to add to the army.
Nice.
And I have a whole bunch of thralls and stuff like that I need to assemble.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the box set, the starter box set that has them all in there. And it's like, I just went out and bought the whole box set just to get the miniatures to paint. Even though I may not ever play the army, I just want them so I can paint them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you're probably always some people are literally just paint or gamers.
Yeah.
And they even have, would rather not even paint or don't paint. But I think most of us, at least a good portion of people, wargamers, are collectors or painters at heart to some extent, or for sure collectors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something to be said is that if you're playing an army, it might be because you really like the aesthetics of that army.
That's how they say to pick one, especially an army that's going to take a lot of work to get done, or money, or both, or time, or whatever.
So it may not necessarily be an army that you play a lot of, but you may paint it a lot. So
right,
and that's an important thing. If it speaks to you, then throw some paint on it and throw some love on it.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an aspect of this, because you see, there are also lots of people that just collect and don't paint. Like they just collect, right? Like they collect miniatures and they like miniatures and they don't paint a lot. And it's not because they don't have time or whatever. They just like,
that's what they like. Is
they like to collect them, and and whether you're a collector or whether you're a modeler, like there's some people that kind of dabble both in the scale model community as well as the wargaming community. Like they kind of are scale model or wargaming, what do you call it? Adjacent. And I think, and then there's like that spectrum of people that just really love the game and like they have no problem like using cardboard hexes or like tiles and but also like to miniature game, but like the gaming is very front and center. And we know there's a spectrum that people fall in, like I think with this. And if I was to answer it, I would say that I went through phases. And I started out like as a kid more as just collecting, like in trying to paint just to make it look good, like just to put it on a shelf. And then I kind of went towards, at a certain point, purely to facilitate gaming. But then I've dabbled, and like a lot of times because I don't RPG D&D anymore, but it was such a big part of my life, the collecting and painting of stuff like more for display or even maybe now that there's so many generic rule sets, another thing that's changed, like there's been an explosion of generic rule sets to use your miniatures with. Even if you want to use it just for painting, you can think, if you're at all into wargaming, you can think about games that you can use them for. And I had a bit of a joke with one of my friends because I bought this miniature about 10 years ago, I think. And
the purple worm.
Yeah, so I bought this purple worm, and this is a resin miniature. It was an AD&D purple worm, put out specifically for Dungeons and Dragons, and I bought it at the time just because I thought it was so cool, and and you know, like I've never used it in a game, but I've always really liked it, and like one time when my friend and I were talking about our purchases that week or this or that, and he's like, well, what are you going to use that for? And I'm like, nothing. I'm just going to paint it and put it on the shelf. And ever since then, if we ever would buy something that was like just to have but not to use, like it would be called, oh, so that's the purple worm this week. You know what I mean? Like that's what we would always
purple worm of the week.
Yeah, that's great. Like, oh, this is my purple worm. You know, it's like that's kind of what we would always say ever since then. But funny. Like I had these, and these weren't even things I painted. I still haven't painted them. But when you would go like in the 80s, probably still there's these places that you can go into. But like you remember the t-shirt shops in the malls where like there'd be like lava lamps and t-shirts.
Yes, and, like, I love those places.
Like yeah, well,
like today was it like a hot topic, you know?
Spencer Gifts was one,
right? Spencer, this is where I probably got it, and so like this is a pewter wizard with like a little crystal ball, but that's made of glass on it.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And then I had this, which is Driz, you know, or Drizzt, you know, from and he's, you know, like got gems on him too. He's got like a little red and a little diamond. So he was never really meant to be painted, but like you could easily paint this him. He's actually quite detailed metal pewter sculpt.
Yep.
So I've gotten things like that just to put on shelves in the past, and when I was quite younger. But now I guess I'm driven primarily by wargaming, but like I'm kind of, this blends for me back in the last conversation that I'm kind of starting to buy miniatures without the thought of using them specifically in a game, but more to have them. And I showed these on the last couple of shows, but like my trolls from the Julie Guthrie, which are part of the set that I'm doing right now. Like they're part of the same set. They're for that set. So I'm looking at collecting this line and painting them, and just to have them more for display, and then I'll base them, and if I can use them for a game, you know, with a cool rule set, little skirmish game, and have some of those old miniatures to play it with, then that'll be great. But it's more a side event. Like the gaming is for this line of miniatures is more a side event, if that makes sense. And so like I can see it from both sides.
So are you those miniatures, like are you approaching that more from, is it more of a nostalgic perspective, or is it more of the enjoyment of painting a miniature that isn't for a purpose? You can just be creative and you can do something, paint something you don't normally paint, or what?
I think it's actually all the above, because it clearly is nostalgia, because it's like I collected these when I was in like the 80s, you know, and they were like my first advent miniatures. I truly do believe like for me, like this isn't like who's, you know, got the best miniature out there, but it's just like for me, these are some of the best miniatures ever made. Like to me, I look back at these and I see the quality for the time period, and I'm like just amazed, like just to how good these are. And so there is like a little, I'm a bit brainwashed in that I love these. And then there is that nostalgia, but then like this idea that I don't have to like make 20 of like similar looking elves, like just to get a force together. Like the fact that I'm like doing these as character models, there's an enjoyment in that, like being able to cut out a sliver of time just to focus on this one model, and the meaningfulness of them too. Like they mean a little more to me than maybe like having like one of many monoposes or one of many exact looking troops, if that makes sense. I don't know. So so I think that there's a place for it. There definitely is a place for both.
I think it's Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer froze up.
Just for a second. Just for like 10 seconds, 5 seconds.
I actually did pause, so I'm wondering if it was actually live.
Okay.
Actually, I'm wondering if I
Maybe
did
you
actually.
locked up. Yeah, we thought you locked up, but it was just you.
It was just me, actually. I hate to say it.
Who'd have thought?
I guess I should deserve this time, regardless. We can actually give me the Mr. Freeze here.
Both Rusty and I are
It's
like,
time
I'm
for
like, is
another
this,
ice edge. His palm
is this
freezes
just
up.
me? He's in the upper northern reaches, so yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what the people in the audience think. Like, where they fall in. Let's look at the comments as maybe they'll share. Because I definitely do think it's a spectrum, though. So many elves. So Chris says display. And so like for him it's more display. We know that he plays games with him too, because he's talked about it. But like if you had to pick one, it sounds like it would be display
Or what he's priority, yeah.
And then Rusty's just reminding everybody of the topics again. Why not both? Meme. And so yeah, like you don't have to pick. Like, you know,
yeah, it's a spectrum.
And I think everybody here, even if you do one, you do the other to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like just
it's a spectrum, or like what's your percent? 20 this, 80 that, and that changes through time, as you've said.
Right.
Yeah, it's like in the beginning, I'd say it was 80% gaming and 80, probably 90% was gaming. And eventually, as you collect enough stuff up, eventually you're like, I got some really nice painted stuff here. I'd like to just display it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts becoming more. I think I just like to display everything.
Yeah.
I'm noticing I'm getting a little bit of an urge as I'm getting some of my dream army things, goals accomplished, where I'm wanting to paint something just because it appeals to me. And I'm kind of with Palmer, where I'm going to these Bob Ollie's old Rawl Partha goblins that I bought back in the 90s. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. I just love those, and I bought tons of them back in the day. But I've got some sitting right here, and one of them I even primed because I'm like, for no game system in mind. I mean, yeah, I could use them in games, or there's millions of games you could use them in. Even just had a little warband, but I want to paint them for the fun of painting them. Yeah. Which I usually tend to paint. I enjoy painting, but I tend to paint with an army goal in mind or a game in mind, mostly because it gives me, which I think I've said before, it gives me direction and focus for my buying, collecting, and painting time spent, so that you're not just willy-nilly painting, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But this gives me, at the end of the tunnel, I have a finished army, or a finished warband, or something that I could do if I would get the opportunity to game. But I think I'm more of a display collector ultimately anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do you display your miniatures?
Yeah, well, I think Rusty's seen I need more cabinet space because it's full. And actually, I've been starting to look on Facebook Marketplace, because there's always curio cabinets and things for sale.
Yeah, for $50 to $100 you can buy.
Yeah, I can get
curio cabinet.
Yeah, because most people want it out of there. It's breakable, and so they mostly just want you to get it out of there if it's a decent one. And I need to just get focused and get one, because I've got a bunch of stuff packed up now, which I didn't used to. I just kept cramming stuff closer together in my cabinet, and now it's pretty full.
Okay.
And I enjoy looking at them.
Yeah,
it's like the two cabinets I have behind me here.
Those are new.
Yeah. So. I bought those last summer, and it cost me $50.
Oh, not bad nice. Though, and they're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them when I was there last time.
That is great. Well, Josh says, purely for gaming and never for display for me, but I love to display my miniatures that I game with. So, yeah.
Well, the problem with Josh is that he doesn't have the space to display stuff.
Because he has so many miniatures that he's painted.
Well, it's compressed area he lives in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When
he needs a basement.
Yeah, it's like when you have limited space to display, it makes it hard to think about displaying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and Josh is an avid gamer, and I think that's a big connection of his nostalgia,
Yeah.
is the gaming that he did through the years, and he obviously loves the painting and does it on an extremely high level. But I think where his real love is in the gaming, or a larger percent of it.
Yeah.
I would love to if I could play a game every week. I'd love to.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my.
I would if I could too, but if I don't, I'm not distraught. I'm happy to if I can paint every week. I'm happy there. Multiple times every week.
And I would prefer, if I'm always happy when I'm at my desk painting. I've been miserable for the last month because I haven't been able to get enough time at my desk painting.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the old thing with time and money. It's like I'm making money, but I have no time for my other hobby.
Well, you have so many hobbies too, doesn't help.
Well, that is that.
Or interests or whatever.
Yeah. I just got part of the thing is I got another telescope. So.
Oh, there you go. You got to balance things out. What do you want to do more today?
Yeah. Or this year or whatever. Yeah.
It's one of those things where they were going to throw it out. It's like, oh, this is another piece of garbage. Just throw it out. I was like, it's not. I'll take
Save.
that. Well, if you got it for a good price, then that's good.
Free's good.
Simon says, but yeah, more for display, because he'd said the thing about why not both, but he goes, yeah, more for display.
Yeah.
I like the hobby of painting and building more, says Chris.
Yeah.
There it is.
Very enjoyable looking at the troops on the shelves waiting for battle, says Simon.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
When you have a army if I had the ability to build the house that I would love to, say you won a lottery, and I would have a large chunk of, say, the basement, it'd be a gaming area, I would have just rows of display cabinets, classic closed.
Oh, heck yeah.
And each army would be on display. And I would just have a tub that, so, I'm going to go someplace I could take them out and put them in the tub and, take them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, that would be the dream, is to have all my armies on display.
Josh says, my Baron's Worm minis are my giant worm polymer. Well, it's good. Yeah, we all have one, right? Well, I have a feeling you'll be playing that too, though, pretty soon. So you'll put him to work.
Yeah,
this worm has never seen the table. this purple worm's never seen the table, but it may someday.
That's true. Never say never. Just up to this point.
That's right. Because I wish I had a basement, Dan. Rusty hit the nail on the head, as I have a very limited space in my Japanese house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
When space is at a premium, you just can't display stuff.
Mm-hmm. Dan would be proud, as I'm painting a load of questing knights for commission at the moment.
Oh, yep. Approved. Good call.
Definitely.
They're probably the 6th edition ones, they're still cool. No doubt. I'll have to put a video up so I can see them.
Well, we are through the comments.
Oh, boy. All right.
So I think we have run a little short on our topics tonight.
Well, there's always other
branch out.
Yeah.
To delve into things. Yeah, we could always talk about, go back to the previous topic of I always think about all the games that we played. I just think of when we were playing 40K right after they swapped over from Rogue Trader, the first box edition.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, and that's one of the reasons why I have so many orcs, who we play apocalypse games.
Yeah.
Equivalent apocalypse games. So you got thousands of points on the table.
Right.
And this is when they first started having the Forge World of vehicles and stuff like that, where you had the God Smashes and the Sleen Rippers, and that's when you started seeing the battle wagons and all the cool stuff for the orcs, and you could go out there and play with. And we set 2 4x8 tables together and just set one side. This would be all the orcs on one side, and all the space wolf ultramarines, and even threw some chaos guys on the other side. So it was just like smashing armies together. And we had our cult of speed on one side. We'd whip across the table, and it's just like you'd be pulling miniatures off the table in buckets every turn.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Yeah, that was the good old days of. It was a lot harder to play it though. Is that because if you remember, all the vehicles had armor values
with cards, right? On the
yeah. So it was a lot harder to do that. Where in the second edition, it's like Josh he plays a lot of second edition games, and just imagine thousands of points of miniatures on the table, and it's like you had to just go with it.
Yeah,
like you hit if you got anywhere near you think the value of the hit, it's like okay, like throw dice and just that's dead. Okay, just pull it off. You didn't care.
That's crazy.
You'd start a Saturday morning at the shop, let's say at 10 o'clock, and you'd be rolling out of there about 8 o'clock at night. You always had to play things so fast.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, it was the good old days. It's like when Josh was having his second edition tournament, and I was thinking, I was like, wow, that's like the amount of miniatures they were throwing on the table had been minuscule to what we were throwing on the table.
Oh yeah,
like what your entire force would have been what we would pull off in 10 minutes.
That's what's even different too when you talk about that, like even 5th edition fantasy, the amount of miniatures that's in an army is a lot lower in general, even for like orcs and goblins or undead than it is like in the newer editions where they were I think obviously trying to get larger blocks, whether it was visually or people liked it or sell miniatures or it doesn't matter.
Well, they were even selling them as bigger sets in most cases, like just selling boxes of 10 and 20 where
where it was 5 or 10 or 20 was a big, then it got to where 30 was kind of the minimum amount you'd get in a box. And
you look at it,
you could build an army a lot easier when you look through like 5th edition army books. It's like, oh, that wouldn't be, that's realistic for, more people than when you look at even old world. It's like, or for sure, like 8th edition.
Yeah. A 2,000 point fantasy game in 4th edition was like very low model count compared to today. You're looking at 1,500. I think I pointed it out. It's like, this was my 2,500 point army. I think back at 4th edition was close to like 1,800 points, I think. So I had to okay, I got to start expanding and buying more models to get to the 2,500 point.
Oh, see, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And which is why I always said it's like I always have to have about 5,000 points of miniatures to be able to fill out the army that way I want it, because it gives you some options of what direction you want to go to.
Sure.
Well, and back then, a lot of people were making armies with blisters too. Like you had like troops and blisters where you would get
blister
2 or 3
packs of 2 or 3.
Yeah, and you're building a whole force. I don't know, I guess I could see it from both sides, but I kind of, in some situations, kind of, when it comes to like Warhammer, I like the smaller armies of the past. That like I kind of like it when you were dealing with like
Hey, nerd.
Groups of 10.
The nerd showed up.
Yeah. Hey, nerds, nerd. I kind of like those days where you were looking at like, you know, like you would see like somebody do like a Rogue Trader or like a Warhammer Fantasy 3rd Edition like battle report, and you'll see like, you know, like a squad of 10 over here, like something that's like to their like main infantry, right? And then like you'll see like, you know, a group of 5 cavalry and like, you know, a hero, and like, you know, just see like all that stuff, and but they're all like individual, you know, miniatures, right? You know, and of like they're all individually sculpted pretty much, and I don't know, there's a bit of a charm to that time period when you look back at that on that, and I do enjoy that. It's not that I don't enjoy the bigger battle stuff too, and I have bigger armies, like I collected bigger armies, you know, for Warhammer Fantasy, but I do like that, and I like that very much for 40K. Like when I look back at the older editions, and you have less stuff on the table, and the scale of the battle hasn't gotten as big as it has for 40K, at least for 28 mil. I do really like that. I prefer something like Epic if I'm going to go on like the bigger scale, kind of like Rusty was talking about earlier. Personally,
yeah.
And it didn't break you could throw a full table out there of Epic, and it felt like you were breaking the bank to do it.
Well, and Dan, I don't think you played much 40K, so I'm not sure if maybe you've seen this on videos or have seen it in real life at a club. But I found that like it can get to the point that on a 4x6 table, like they just want you to put way too much in 40K. Like you're basically just moving all your troops forward, and there's nowhere to go left or right sometimes when you have like just terrain on the table and you just have like so many like
for like the newer
miniatures. Yeah.
The later
like
editions.
Right.
Yeah.
Even back to 6th edition, it was kind of like that.
Okay.
In 40K.
I've watched games like they'll be playing them at Bug Eater, you know, when that tournament still had bolt action, and they'd have 40K going. So like during a break or something, we'd wander around and watch those games, you know, for a few minutes. And that was always and again, I'm not knocking the game. Just for me, when I looked at it, all I saw was, I mean, it was just, and these are things that are shooting rockets and stuff. And I'm like, we're like toe to toe. Like, like it just, I had a hard time. I mean, like, you know, I have unicorns and Pegasus. So, I mean, like, it's not hinged in reality either, but like enough reality that I can imagine it, I guess. It just didn't work for me, the aesthetics of that. Yeah.
It's just too close together for that many miniatures and those size of miniatures.
Well, and that's why sometimes I've said I didn't like those big, you know, those oversized centerpiece models, even for fantasy. You know, sometimes you could say, well, the giant, though he is giant, that's awesome. Or the dragon is more like a dragon you would think should be. But sometimes then on the table, it almost like the scale doesn't quite work though on a 4x6 table, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Visually.
there's sometimes the aesthetics of it seems way off. When you look at say 40K and you throw a Land Raider out there with a big footprint, you know, or even a super heavy tank, where it's like yay big, you know, on the table, and you got your miniatures, and it's like, geez, it's a foot long, and you put it out there, and it's already a quarter away across the table.
Right. Which I understand you have to suspend some disbelief just, you know, to make it work as a game, because even bolt action has to do that. I mean, a mortar probably wouldn't even be on the table. I mean, he'd be so far back, lobbing shells. And then we're having tank battles that are on the table. I mean, not that those occasionally didn't happen in like street fighting situations or, you know, where they'd get in tight. But typically, you know, that's not what was happening. Even in World War II, they weren't just blasting at each other from 40 yards away.
And if you were, it's like you're a city fight.
Yeah, it's a city fight situation, but you have to do that because you got to shrink some of the table down to make the game work. You know, otherwise you'd have a 40-foot square table and you'd have to walk around on the table. And
I think it's kind of confusing if you're going to try to mimic the epic battles that you see, like kind of like Helm's Deep or like anything that's like truly epic where you think there's just like masses of armies coming at each other, if you're trying to do that and you don't do it in 28 mil, like you got to do it in like a smaller scale, in
that's where 15 mil is the sweet spot when it comes to large battles.
I would say you're right in some ways for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think you could even like there's a case for even smaller depending on how big, it just I guess it's a sweet spot for painting and game, like that visual appeal.
But the 2 and 6 and 10.
Josh goes he put a comment related to this.
Yeah.
Goes, I've been thinking too, guys, that given space restrictions and time, that the 4x4 table with a fewer points still gives me a satisfying game at the end of the day. I much prefer 1,000-point Warhammer games. I actually can appreciate that, because I even really enjoyed my.
You're with 1,000 points in Warhammer Fantasy. You're kind of in the realm of a skirmish game. That's rank,
but not necessarily. Yeah. And I think the big thing is if you can have you could do that because 1,000 points would give you quite a few different units. Because that's the key for me. Like, does 1,000 points get you 2 or 3 units, or can I get like 6 different units? Then now you got a game with 6 different. So you got some cavalry, you got some archers, and you maybe got a cannon, and then you've got your foot troops, and it doesn't have to be 50 men in a unit. It can be 20 or 15.
And your hero types are really restrictive at that point level, because then you're looking at a low level hero is now a general.
Yes. And you can't tool them up so high. Of course, you can always.
You might have 1, maybe 2 magical items, and they're going to be low grade magical items to begin with.
That's true.
And you might, if you spend 100 points on that guy for items, and that's getting, you're looking at 10% of your army just wrapped up in just you're not going to probably do that too much.
And sometimes can't legally, depending on
Yeah.
Well, but when I started Old World, I found the 1,000 points worked really well. Like for a different reason, like not that it not that it actually mimicked what they intended for the game. Like I'm not saying that it mimicked like what you're supposed to get for the game, but I found like learning the basic rules and getting the ability to do the basic things. Like I was able to get like units of 20 to 30 goblins because they're so cheap, and like just certain key, like 5 wolf riders, like, kind of like, it was like that, what I just described for 3rd edition. Like you would have like one block, like, that was like your main block. Like you would have like 1 fast cav. You would have like your wizard, like, your like Rusty said, like your captain, but like not like a full general, like, and
not a king.
And I found like it actually worked pretty good though. Like to just kind of, it's still a fun game. And then there's more strategy in picking your army. Actually, there's more strategy in trying to, when you have fewer points to work with, you have to really think about where you're going to put them.
Yeah.
And you're not throwing a lot of it into really extra stuff. You might have a unit leader, a banner, and a musician. That's getting splurgy.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, it's like you just get your rank and file, and you'll have maybe 1 hero, which is your general. And it's like, okay, I got to limit myself to less than 100 points to be put on this guy, because I want to, you want to have some rank and file troops. And it's definitely not going to be a chaos army, because
oh yeah, they're always small anyway.
It's like, then it's even smaller, because it's like a chaos warrior army. It's like, geez, a knight is like 50 points.
4 guys in that army.
Yeah. And it won't be like a troll army either, because you're looking at 50 points a model, so 35 to 50 points. So
unless something's changed, nobody's taking trolls right now anyway, because they're kind of like, unless you do the full troll force. Yeah. Like you could do the troll horde, but in general,
what's wrong with them?
Well, and I'm a little out of it. I haven't played much the last year, but before they released the Working Goblins book, before they did the troll army with the troll hag and like some of the advantages you got like with the army, they were just like, I think people were just finding that they just were like middle of the road. Like they were like a middle of the road size creature that just you weren't getting your points out of. It's like really what I think most people were finding.
But they're such cool models.
That's the thing. That's the
rule
thing,
of cool.
like everybody wants to take them, and that's like part of the problem with a lot of different armies at times.
Well, the
Yeah.
problem with the troll army, they're just kind of pukey.
Literally.
Literally. Oh, that's funny. Oh, this worked out nicely. I got them all glued and ranked. This is going to be a really fun unit to paint up.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just finished?
Yeah, just kind of.
Oh, good. Yeah,
I'm ready to.
really nice.
I'd have to glue sand and stuff on, which I can't do sitting here. So
right.
That'll be another day project.
Right.
Let's see. Josh said our Questing Knights 6th edition models.
Yeah, that's what I was curious. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think they are. Because the 5th edition, they were.
And the 5th edition had Questing Knights. They're the one. There was 22 or 23 poses or torsos and heads, and I kind of brag a little bit. I do have them all. But they were just basically they were metal knights, legs and the torsos, but they did not have hand weapons. They had lances. They just had unique helms, and their lances had some fleur-de-lis on the truncheon, and and then their horses had a metal head. I think there's 3 metal heads, and they have the horse itself has a metal armor plating that goes down the front of its snout. Some of them even have covers over their eyes that has holes through it. So that's what makes the Questing Knights from 5th edition unique. The 6th edition are all the ones with the hand weapons and the kitchen sinks and stuff strapped to their back, and all the stuff like that was a whole different look.
Josh says, thanks, guys. As these are the 5th edition ones, and I'm painting all 24 variants.
Oh, no freaking way. I have, I think, only like 12 of them painted. Okay, Josh, you absolutely have to do a video on those. I will pay you money to do a video on those.
Were those the same 12 guys I dropped a rock on their heads and blew them?
Yeah. Because I was just using them as a unit of Knights of the Realm, because basically in Old World the Questing Knights are you do have great weapons. So yeah. I could have said yes, these are them, but I didn't run a unit of Questing Knights in Old World. They're not particularly a good buy, like Palmer's saying. All right. Trolls. I'll send you a tip when you put that video up. Oh, that's so cool.
Dan's like, make sure you bring an umbrella out in the rain. Thanks very much.
Oh, they're such good models. I had a lot of fun painting the ones I got. I need to paint them all up just because it's a shame to have all of them and not paint them all. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah, they were.
I
think I only have a couple of the knights from 5th edition.
Okay.
It's like I think was it one of them I have on my dragon. I pulled them off and I put them on my dragon.
Yeah, that I can't remember what you had on there. I painted all
has
mine.
The horns. He's got the.
Yeah, there's also a Knight of the Realm metal one that has horns. Yeah. Most all of the knights, Questing Knights from 5th edition, most of them have a fleur-de-lis somewhere on them, whether it's on their helmet or somewhere on their chest plate or something. Yeah. And then I painted. That's every single knight in my mounted knight unit has fleur-de-lis, part of their heraldry, which is part of the lore from 5th edition. So that's how I always differentiate them.
That was one army I always wanted to start, but I just never got into. I think it was when the Chaos Dwarves came along, I started throwing my money into them.
Yeah, no, that would have been good too. I just fell in love with the 5th edition ones, and that's such a happy place for me.
Yeah, that'd be if I could go back I probably would. I do have a Bretonnian army, but it's mostly 6th edition stuff
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because that's
Which,
what came in the box set. I think.
yep. Well, and that's a lot of the models that they have out now are the 6th edition models for Old World,
Yeah.
which has been cool for people to get what they were missing and to get them affordably again. Frankly, I'll say they're cheaper than what you could get them on eBay, you know. So they're I can't really too much bitch about their price point. You could say, well, they're 30-year-old models. Well, they're almost 20, whatever, 5, 6, but
Even the limited edition ones they do, what do they call it? The made to order.
made to order. Yeah,
those are cheaper than what you'll get.
yes,
on
100%.
eBay.
When they do a Bretonnian one, I do pick up a couple that either I'm missing or I only have one of or something, because they're cheap enough. I mean, yeah, they're not free, but they're better than eBay prices, no doubt.
Yeah.
Even before things got crazy. I mean, you could get them cheaper back, you know, before there was before COVID. That's when, ever since then, things never really recovered. Everybody kind of got nostalgic, and then the Old World came out, and now all that stuff's just out. It's just crazy online or on eBay.
You go back to 2014-15, you could buy fantasy miniatures for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, wasn't as cheap when I was buying a lot of the Bretonnian stuff. Kind of was more in that 16, 17, 18 time period when I really was trying to fill the collection out. But it was still like even for, you know, the metal foot spearmen and halberdiers and stuff, you could get them for $4 to $5 a model, unpainted. You know, they were maybe not new and blister or anything, but was reasonable. I mean, they had some value to people still, but they weren't like, I mean, now they're trying to sell them for like $20, you know, 15, and maybe they're missing the shield. I mean, it's like crazy.
Oh yeah, it's like my dark elf witch elves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen on there where they were unpainted, or like going for $20 a piece. And like, I got 40 something of them. It's like, wow.
Is there, as one last note before we got to quit, one question I had is anybody in the loop on what's the latest thing in the Old World as far as direction they're going, or armies they're releasing, or made to order stuff coming? Or
I haven't heard a word.
I haven't followed it.
Yeah, I'm not as much in the loop right now. I do know that some information came out. One or two of the legacy armies I think have been pegged. Rumors strongly that they're actually getting full treatment, and I think it's vampire counts and possibly dark elves.
I heard speculation of vampire counts, and I didn't know if that was based in some solid rumor or people were just like wishful thinking.
Well, we'll probably find out, because usually June is a big release month. June and February, so for fantasy.
Yeah. And yeah, so I don't know, but we'll say there's some speculation that they're going to be doing what they said in the very beginning. That's the Kislev. Because they kind of, it seems as if they probably put a lot of the design work into that already. But we'll see, because probably the the Cathay did probably perform better than any typical army, I think, in their releases, because it was all new, right? And like some people did buy into it and everything. So they're probably expecting something similar for Kislev.
That'd be my guess. And I know I thought they'd done a bunch of work on it already, so I'm mostly interested in whether I'm not going to start a new army or anything, but if you can get some of those made to order models, even for some of the different armies, like the vampire counts would be cool for me. If you could get some of those different models, I'd be wanting to not miss the announcement on that. And they've had talk too that they'll be going back to some maybe more of the older Bretonnian models that's made to order as they cycle through them again. So
because you're gonna collect them and display them, or is this so you can build an army with them?
Just add them. Yeah, that's an excellent question, Paul. Mostly, both. I'm building the army, but since I've gotten to the size I'm getting now, it's like, what?
No, I mean the vampire counts.
Oh, the vampire counts. I have collected. I've collected lizardmen, undead, and Bretonnians as far as I could paint up a full army with all those. Bretonnians is my largest. And then lizardmen and undead are probably very close to each other. I mean, I have lots of stuff I was picking up kind of in the last 10 years.
Okay.
And so those would be the only other two armies I would even at this point consider trying to pursue. Whether I'll get them done or not, I couldn't say. I have a huge temptation to get onto the undead, the vampire counts or undead, I guess, as I collected them.
That'd be something I would look at, is adding some vampire count or the leaders. Some of the I have a bunch, but there's a large group of
there's
them.
Tons of them, and depending how far back they would go on the made to orders, there's some really good classic stuff out there. That was always one army that appealed to me, just even not within old world or Warhammer fantasy. Just I love that. I've always loved undead ghosts and spirits and skeletons and zombies. I just love I've always loved that since I was a kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And when they had just the undead army, it was like 50-50. And when they split it into vampire counts and Tomb Kings, I went the Tomb Kings route and kind of neglected the vampire counts.
Okay.
So a lot of what I have is from way back when, before they split it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've even collected some stuff that wasn't Games Workshop that adds into that I'll put in the army. Some of them are Ralpartha. Some of them are. I've got a couple Grenadier. I've got some Reaper. They're cool. I'll paint that because I just love the models. Same as the Bretonians.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, there's lots of cool. It's tempting with. You start to like when you like a certain design aesthetic.
Yes,
from a period, you end up tending to like a lot from a lot of different armies from that time period.
Yes.
Yeah, which I understand.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we're just coming up after 10 here. I think we covered the topics pretty well tonight and had a lot of people in. And thanks for everybody for joining.
It's good to have everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of good comments tonight. I think I'm not sure. I think it might be based on. I can't really tell with the amount of people that are in there, but it seems like it might be Josh and Simon and maybe Nerd's Nerd that are still there. Maybe Chris. I'm not sure. That are still on to the end here, but
hanging on.
Yeah, and it's good. Thanks you guys for joining in, and we will. So one quick thing we'll just mention before we go is just that we are. I need to start out those sound effects for next time, Palmer. Speaking of next time, we are coming up to our summer schedule. Our next time will be in June, and for the summer, we'll be down to one show a month. We used to not do them in the summer at all, but we found that we enjoyed getting together once a month and doing a show. And before the next season starts in September, we'll do just a limping through the summer with a show each month until we get to September, in which case we'll do season 10, which will be the 10th season, the 10th anniversary season of the Musty Wargamers.
Hard to believe. It's been that long.
It'll be a decade of basement shows.
That's crazy.
Much scotch and bourbon has been, and rum has been imbibed.
Gallons and gallons. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, we'll be doing that. It'll be we'll announce it on the Facebook page like usual. And so yeah. So
yeah, we just have to figure out if it's going to be the first week of June or second week, somewhere in there. So
yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yep. Look what the numbers are. Cool. Well, it's great to see all the people in the chat. That's always fun. That's half the fun for sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
Rusty gives away all his orcs for the show anniversary. That's funny. So,
I gave him away to my kid.
That's classic.
Yeah, exactly. See you, everybody.
Yeah. Right. Good night, everybody.
We'll see you in 2 or 3 weeks, somewhere in there.
Yes.
We'll keep you posted.
All right. Okay. We'll talk to you all later. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.